welcome to episode 117 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Allman.
I am Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, just like I feel like every time we have to take a break in the podcast, it always just makes it feel like a long time.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what happens when you do something every single week, and then you don't.
Nope.
Well, Jeff, hello. How are you doing? I'm pretty tired from moving.
Same.
Yeah, we've spent the whole day moving into our new house, and it's pretty exhausting, but it's looking pretty darn good, I would say. And that means this is probably going to be the last episode not in our official streaming room.
Woo.
Yeah. So this will be the last time before then, and from here on out, we should have a dedicated spot for recording, which means it'll be a lot easier to just go in there and turn on everything. So we are going to stream so much more.
Yeah.
At twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming. I think we want to do Untitled Goose Game to break open the new room, and I am so stoked for that.
Yep.
I've intentionally tried to not look at much of like what happens in the game. I've seen the first area that you like mess with the farmer, but yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Yeah, I think Jeff is too.
Of course.
No, Jeff's like, nah, actually, I don't think I want to move in.
Yeah.
We just loaded stuff all day, but you know.
I'm just not for it anymore, you know?
I just don't feel like it, you know? And I think we're going to play a lot more VR stuff just because we actually have a good setup for it. So it'll be cool. Well, Jeff, in this time that we have not been recording because we missed last week, me and you have both been playing a hot new video game that all of the kids are talking about.
All of them?
And it's out of this world.
Death Stranding.
It's Death Stranding.
All the kids talking about it.
Yeah. No, it is The Outer Worlds, not The Outer Wilds.
You know,
even though I promise you I will probably sometime in this podcast say The Outer Wilds.
Probably.
It's just kind of impossible not to. Jeff, how far are you into this game so far?
I want to say like 13 hours.
Nice. I am only like maybe 4 or 5, like tops, like absolute tops.
But it feels like more.
Yeah.
Like 13 hours, I feel like I played a lot more. I see my time after each session was like, I swore I played more than that.
Like in a good way? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get into it. This is obviously Obsidian made this. This is the makers of Fallout New Vegas, and it's also
the original Fallout as well.
Yeah, that's
or from the creators, not Obsidian, but
yeah, like it's people. Also in collaboration with people who did the original Fallout as well. And going into this game, I was excited about it because I love New Vegas, and I love New Vegas's writing is very unique, even compared to the other Fallout games. It just has a very unique style about it. So I was excited on that front, because I thought it was going to be a similar type of game. I was like surprised when I started this game, and I'm like, oh, this is a Fallout game. It's like not just Fallout inspired. It is kind of undeniable that they went into this game saying we are going to like make our modern version of New Vegas in a different setting, but like you start and it's immediately you're creating your character in the exact same way that Fallout is. Like it's all the same attributes. Like some of them might have different names, but it's the same thing. How you build your character before.
Yeah. So as far as building the character goes, so hearing some impressions or anything, I heard the social aspects of it or the communication skills are very important, so I went heavy into that in hacking and
which
stuff.
that is the same thing in Fallout.
My combat skills, melee and gunplay, much slower than everything else.
I mean, that's how I always did it. I max out speech or whatever it's called.
Because I am going to imagine you and pretty much everyone else who plays this game agrees the best part of this game is the character interactions.
100%.
Not the
100%.
The combat is serviceable.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna get into. Like when I realized that this is Fallout, and even you start moving your character, and it's like this just feels like a Fallout game. I like that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I was like, okay, this is what we're going for. But then I did start thinking, okay, I already played a game that was basically Fallout again with Fallout 4, and it definitely got very old and it felt like it wasn't doing anything new. So I was thinking with the Outer Worlds, like, okay, this is cool, but you have to do something to catch me. You have to do something different in here. And I'm still very early, so I want to talk at the beginning here, but then I mostly want to hear a lot of what you have to say.
Before we go on, I'm guessing we agree. No big spoilers, but since I'm much spoiling you, just maybe vague spoilers.
I have very few to even give.
Yeah. Maybe like very beginning spoilers. We got something funny to say or something.
Right. Yeah, but we won't go.
I might say some vague stuff as far as choices and stuff, but
yeah, we might end up doing. I'm sure we'll probably do some sort of spoiler.
Either
a spoiler cast or a spoiler section on the podcast.
100%.
Yeah. Because but I will say, like, I'm not far enough to, like, I don't want to, like, plant my, like, Outer Worlds is great and it's doing everything different, because it is very similar to Fallout, but I was thinking, like, what's going to make it different? And so far, at least for me, what makes it different is the writing.
Yep.
And I think even though I'm so early on, I haven't even really seen the payoff of these things. I'm already getting to the point where, like, I'll talk to someone and they'll give me, like, the normal RPG quest thing or whatever. And then, like, you'll know this one, like, it's very early on. You, like, talk to this guy. He wants you to go get something. It's like, okay, cool. Walk out the door, and immediately someone walks up and says, "Hey, don't give that to him.
Yep.
He doesn't deserve that. You need to listen to me." He don't, like, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, this is cool. And even before that, I kind of started realizing as soon as I walked into the first bar of the first town and started talking to the bartender there. And like, I immediately, like, kind of fell in love with her character. Like, this whole, like, setting is this very kind of, like, oppressive government type of thing. And I don't know, like, everyone living under those laws, and that, like, it's a very unique type of feeling, you know, like, they just do a super, super good job.
Everyone's
already.
A walking ad.
Yeah. It's everyone's like, yeah, Spacer's Choice, or what is it? What's the
I forget
the first one? It's whatever the like company that they all
Spacer's Choice. I forgot the rest of it. Spacer's Choice.
Yeah, I think it's Spacer's Choice is the only one I've come in contact with, really.
There are others.
Yeah, I don't know where there's others, but that's basically it. I think so far the writing is, like, really, really, really strong, even, like, early on, and that's what I think is going to keep me coming back to it. And comparing it to Fallout, the gunplay, it's not, like, top tier gunplay, but it's a lot better than Fallout. Mm-hmm. Like, they have a VATS-like system, but I feel like I'm not, like, using it as a crutch nearly as much as you had to in Fallout. Like, I'm mostly aiming down sights and shooting, and it feels good. Like, it feels good enough for how it's going. But what do you think, as someone who hasn't played Fallout and hasn't played these games before? This is, like, kind of your first one of these. How are you enjoying
Terrible. Nah, I'm loving it so far. It's really fun. I'm curious. Yeah. There's an interesting dynamic here. We got, you who play a lot of Fallout games, and then me who's none. But
yeah, no, you watch, like, I even, like, as soon as I started playing this, I'm like, Jeff never liked the other Fallout games when he played with us. I wonder how he's going to think about this because of how similar it is.
I think what might help, then again, it's been a while since I played a Fallout game, so if they made a new one, like, and it's actually good.
I honest to God think you would enjoy New Vegas. Like, if you played New Vegas right now, you would like it. I mean, I think it's just one of those things.
But I think what kind of helped overall is the fact that this isn't open world like all of Bethesda's other, recent games. This is a game where, you have big areas, but you're jumping from planet to planet, which are these kind of, smallish in comparison to other open world games, like sandbox things, where you have a couple towns, a couple buildings you go in, some wildlife stuff, but nothing like too overwhelming.
Right.
And I like it because you're jumping from place to place enough, and each world, so far visually is different enough where I just keep things interesting. And because you're jumping from world to world, it's kind of an idea of, you don't know how much more you got left in this game or whatever, especially since you having to jump, like, back to old worlds for missions and stuff,
right?
For various things, so kind of keeps you on your toes and all that.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that this game, because, like, Fallout and Skyrim and Oblivion and all the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, they have, like, they are like insanely huge. The worlds are huge, and there's so many quests, and like a lot of them have really good writing, like on the level of what I've seen of Outer Worlds so far. But then there's also a lot of just pointless, stupid quests that lead nowhere and are just a waste of time. I'm hoping that Outer Worlds is just going to feel like the best of Fallout. It's going to be like Fallout with all the fat trimmed.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There probably might have been a side quest or two that I've done, because I've done a good many of these at some point that might feel like, they kind of feel like quests. But there are honestly a lot of these where I'm doing them like in tangent with a story quest. And I kind of forget sometimes until I look at the mission thing, like which one's actually the story quest.
Yeah.
And that's a big compliment.
Yeah.
Like as far as like how interesting they are and how important they kind of sound. Yeah, they all feel the same as far as their importance to the world and the characters.
Yeah. And I mean, like, so far I've even enjoyed like reading the like supplementary things you find around, because I'm already interested in the dynamic of like even this little town that I'm in.
And like as far as like the RPG elements, as far as you kind of build how your character is and decide on things, I like how and I know companions were obviously in the other Fallout games, that's nothing new, but I like it how, and I can already tell there are a couple companions. There's spoiler 6 overall companions, I believe. I think only 2 of them are ones you get in the story.
Okay.
Like, or well, you could tell them to fuck off and not have them in your party. You can do that. You can tell any of them to leave at any time, but why would you? The rest of them were side content stuff. 2 of them were kind of more, less missable than others as far as finding them. But there's one of your companions in particular where I could see people easily missing them.
Okay, yeah.
Because it just seems like a normal NPC with a name at first, and then he just later, after you do some stuff, asks to join you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you're a companion. And because I didn't know, I don't know how much of the companions in the fast Fallout games are like you meet separately outside of the main story. So
I think almost all of them. I mean, I think most of them are separate, but
but the first one companion I technically got was before you, I guess be introduced to companions. So I got like, I could have completely missed you.
It's like, no clue that I was heading into this.
And something I really like about the companions, and you will definitely find out more as you go on.
Yeah,
I assume you have at least one.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
The first one. How much they can add to a conversation. So sometimes I am picking my companion based on what is going on around me, like which city am I in? Am I in the city they're in, or what's the story doing? I will pick like, okay, this seems like this companion will have something to say about this, so I take them with doing like, yep, they're more talkative than they normally are. There's one in particular that's always talkative, and I love her.
Yeah, I mean, already from the little bit I played, it seemed like there definitely was an element of like in New Vegas and even in Fallout 3, there was different factions, and certain companions were tied to different factions. So like if you took one from one faction and walked into the hostile, like you walked into like their enemy faction, they're gonna start fighting people, or like shit's gonna happen. Like there was definitely elements of that. But it already seems like in this game it's a lot more fluid, where I had that first companion and I walked up and talked to someone who I had already been doing a quest for before I got her, and I went and started talking to him, and immediately he says, "Oh, hey," to the companion. They start having a conversation. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." That like obviously wouldn't have happened otherwise. And it definitely in previous Fallout games, I think it feels a lot more rigid. It's not nearly as like
in a way
fluid.
It makes it more stressful to pick which companion to take. It's like I don't want to miss out on potentially cool lore or
also like I'm hoping like at one point I walk up and I like go to talk to someone for something else, and then he turns to my companion and says, "Hey, what the fuck, where's my money?" And I'll be like, "Oh shit," I want something like that to happen, where it's like they have like some history that I don't know about, Yeah, so there's a lot of potential in this game for sure. I am super excited to keep going into it, and that like I don't really want to spoil it, but I think like the biggest thing, like one of the biggest grabs for me is just kind of I think on the surface, when you start playing this game at first, it kind of just seemed like, okay, this is like, this government or this like company, these people, this entire town like is a part of, is just very controlling and almost cartoonishly controlling. It's like, okay, I get what's happening here, but I think there are like some super interesting dynamics, and like maybe just skip ahead for like a minute or so if you want to avoid spoilers. For video, I'll like wave like this when you come back in, but audio maybe just skip ahead a few times. In that first town, I thought it was, for some reason, it just really was kind of an interesting dynamic to me with the guy who committed suicide. How like you thought like, oh, it's really sad this guy committed suicide, but like when everyone's talking about it, it's like, no, we're like that is considered destruction of property to this company, so we're gonna have to pay for him. So he fucked us. So we need to like find a way out of.
And
when
you talk to one girl, it's like, I have to pay for his stuff because I'm the closest of kin because I found him, or it's the nearest to him, or whatever.
And I loved how they set that up, because it's like, that's so weird, but it kind of makes sense in this. That they very quickly set up the dynamic of this company versus this, and like how these people are not really treated like people, and it's like, it's such a weird granular thing that I like feel like worse writers would not have done. You know what I mean? Like that was such a cool way of show. Okay, they could have just had like the government agency like comes in here and starts yelling at people and beating people, and it's like, okay, well, they're bad. This was way more subtle, like they talked about this guy committing suicide, and everyone's biggest fear is like, everyone's got to pay for it. I just think that was such a cool way of introducing that.
Oh,
I'll way back.
Well, another thing, like, this is like, well, actually, I won't say it then. We're out of the thing. It's just a cool thing and close to the beginning, but we'll say it. I just looked at the how long to beat thing because I thought this was it. I just wanted to see the main story. Remember, I've played like at least 13 hours. The main story apparently 10 and a half hours.
Oh,
wow. So here's the thing.
That's there is mainline,
you can mainline this game quickly. There are a lot of side quests in this game, and like I said, I can't imagine not doing them.
This is definitely a game that you like. Because
you got companion quests, you got stuff for the different factions and all that to do, and all that kind of stuff, and all just random side quests, which usually open up a whole other sections of stories because you go exploring in that area or just in general. It's like, why wouldn't you want to do that in this game? In this game in particular, why would you want to mainline this game?
And I do think there is a chance that I get to the end of this game and feel like it was too short, because we were talking about this, me and you, earlier. Just most of these RPGs like this, like the other Fallout games, and even Witcher, and a lot of other, especially Western RPGs like this, you're used to it being like you spend a lot of time in that world and get to know all these characters, and you see all these different areas, and it's just a big experience. And I definitely could see me getting to the end of this and feel like, man, I could have stayed in here another 10 or 20 hours. I definitely, I hope not, but I do think there is a chance of that it feels like, it feels like, man, I was just getting started, or like this. Because I do think this does kind of, in a way, not that it's worse. I actually think it has the potential to be better, but it does kind of feel like a AA Fallout.
No, 100%, and that's pretty much what it is and was made to be. And I think so far it's excelling at it, and I think that's why it's the way to. I don't think you can use to justify it. I don't think you need to potentially short link because it has far less of a budget than it, but they're using it in great ways. And I think if we're at the end and we're feeling like, oh, we want more in this world, it's just a good sign as far as how good the game is and Obsidian's and Microsoft prospects as far as their future.
And am I wrong in thinking, because you're a lot further than me, am I wrong in thinking that this almost seems more narrative based than exploration based?
100%.
Like in Fallout, you love the narrative, but in Fallout, I would literally start playing and just wander. I would wander in some random direction and not even get any sort of narrative thing for hours. I just find cool places, fight cool enemies. Whereas in this, my main driving force, normally in these type of games, I've already started meandering about and I see the first area, but then I'm like, screw this, and I start walking around. In this game, I'm going quest to quest to quest.
Yeah, so I think that's some. could potentially be a negative for it, but it just depends how you look at it. It just seems like, compared to what I know of Fallout, and I'm probably going to be comparing it to Fallout from what I know of Fallout. Right. So if I'm wrong, feel free to tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. But yeah, it seems like Fallout, because it's purposely Fallout's a game of bigger scope. There is more stuff like all around the map that you could potentially run into and do. Where in Outer Worlds, at least in my experience, my time playing with it, a lot of the quest stuff is a lot more segmented as far as these are the places that quest stuff happens, and you're just kind of walking the path. There's still stuff to find and stuff. There's still some exploring, but it's a lot more streamlined than what I know the Bethesda games to be. Yeah. And I think that's again, I think there's a place for that with this kind of Bethesda style game that's shorter and just potentially more accessible just because of its shortness and the fact, and I think it works as far as that way because we're saying the narrative is and the writing is so strong.
Yeah, like I have a feeling that because of its shorter length, it's gonna feel tight, and it's like there's not gonna be like much fatter, much like like that was rough. And I really do think there could have been a version of Outer Worlds, and there probably even internally were a lot of discussions about making this the size of like a New Vegas, and it probably would have been a lot worse because they don't have the budget for it and the time and everything. That would have been spread probably too thin. I mean, this is probably a good
and it just gets assuming we're still having these feelings at the end, but luckily the reception for people who have finished the game, reviews and all that kind of stuff in the public so far, I got a feeling we're gonna still feel good about this game at the end.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
I think that's just a really exciting thing of Microsoft attaining Obsidian from a standpoint of Obsidian has financial stability. They will have Microsoft backing, and considering Outer Worlds is a critical hit that, and
now they have an IP that people want.
Yeah, and I imagine it's going to be also a commercial hit. It's on Game Pass, so that will change things, but I think it will be. Yeah, they will put their money from this, and from Microsoft's standpoint, they're happy because they're going to the next gen with, hey, we have the makers of Outer Worlds on our docket.
And Microsoft was in desperate need of a new, especially RPG single player hit.
Yeah, and
that's not just going to be one game.
This game wasn't made under them, but as we kept on saying, off and on mic, Microsoft had a lot of riding on this game, even though they had nothing to do as far as it being made. But the fact that it is this good, it just completely justifies them. Yeah. It makes them look good as far as their other.
And it makes
they know what they're doing.
Outer Worlds 2 is not like a question anymore. It's like, this is happening.
100%. Because some people are confused about this as far as because I think it's Take-Two's technically a company or whatever, private division. I think that's under Take-Two. I might be wrong. Some people thought they owned the rights. No, they just owned the publishing rights, but they made the deal of Obsidian owned the rights to Outer Worlds, and now Microsoft obviously owns those rights. So Outer Worlds 2 will probably happen, but if anything, even if it's not called Outer Worlds whatever, they're probably going to make another RPG like this, but they probably will use the Outer Worlds name.
Probably, yeah.
Because there's a lot they can do with the whole space thing.
It'd be a lot smarter sales-wise and pitching it wise to do Outer Worlds.
100%. So.
Yeah, and I like to see the scope, especially Microsoft might be Microsoft's we finally have a win. Here, have money. Go.
Like you said, this is in a genre that people were saying that Microsoft was lacking in. There are a lot of genres people say Microsoft are lacking in because it's they might focus on a couple different genres, but. Yeah, this is something else.
Single player RPG is definitely something that that
and something that is continuing to be popular and all that.
Now, can we get the 1-2 punch with this and Fable 4? That's the question.
And another game from a studio they just acquired that's made in thing will be great. Psychonauts 2.
Yes.
It needs to be great, Microsoft. I know you technically have nothing to do with that, but come on.
Yeah, that Phil Spencer's gonna walk in. It's man, this is shit. We gotta fix this. Phil Spencer's gonna single-handedly fix Psychonauts 2 because it was so bad. It was just so bad.
That game is so good.
It needs so much more Master Chief. Here, Tim, get out of the way. Get out of the way.
I would cry. Not in a happy way. Sad was let Tim do his thing.
No, he's busy making Excel, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we will definitely be talking more about Outer Worlds in the future. And I don't want this to. I also I could end up not liking this game. I'm still super into it. I don't want this to end up seeming like something that I turn back on. But at least there is a lot of promise on this game.
As someone who is farther than you, I don't think you will. Just
I'm
based
sure
on what
it
you're
seems
saying.
like my type of game. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be more what you said. You just want more at the end.
Yeah.
But and there's one thing we can talk about before we move on is, and I'll probably have more to say, is as far as the, I guess, making use of your stats and different things like the charisma and the hacking and all that kind of stuff. Don't make him make use as far as the sneaking and the hacking and stuff, because I'm being a good boy and not taking things. It's like I'm seeing things all around town. It's like, steal this, I'm not doing any of that.
But just like in old Fallout games, it's often super easy. Super easy to steal things if you want to be a bad boy.
And because my charm stats or whatever are so high, if I get caught being I can lie and say, oh no, you didn't see anything, and they believe me.
This is a little bit of a sidestep for it, but one of my biggest complaints about Fallout 4 was just that so much of your own character's dialogue just felt, and other people's dialogue, but especially your own characters, just felt so damn wooden. Especially that they had voice acting and they had the person there and everything, and it was just incredibly wooden. It was just not good at all. This one obviously doesn't have voice acting for you, but I every conversation I've had, I have loved my own dialogue choices. Every time I think about what I would want to say, it's almost always there, and it's there with personality. You can have some sass.
Yeah, you can have some. I like it because they're I'm going to use Fire Emblem, for example, because it's usually
it's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible.
You have the times you get options, they're usually just two different ways to say the same thing that don't even have much different tone. But this, like you said, you got, depending on what's going on, a bunch of different, maybe up to 4, sounds right, different options with different tones, and as far as okay, I'll help you, or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And it has attacker day. I will literally kill you right now.
Yeah.
I like how it gives the option. It kind of makes me, and again, I'll talk to you before, unless you're doing this kind of thing, it's just us doing a sociopath run.
Yeah, it would be fun.
We just go through and we're just kind of say, fuck it.
There's a lot of these, and you just
and just to see how it affects the game.
Yeah, just see how different the game ends up being.
Yeah, because I imagine you're gonna play at least somewhat of a goody two shoes, just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, more I'm definitely I'll be a little morally gray. I'm stealing.
Yeah.
I steal some things, and I do.
Yeah.
But but no. But even there was options you could ask them a question, and then you could change the question and go to something else, or you could keep on that. And usually there's just a lot of flavor text that was they did. You talk about having the multiple different ways of saying the same thing. They kind of did that, but in a much better way, where it's here's the kind of nice option of getting this information. Here's the kind of you're gonna jab at them some way of getting the information. Just I don't know, the flavor text was I kind of I already through their options kind of got a sense of how my character is. They're a little bit of an asshole, but not really. There's nuance within their options, because there's 5 different options, and they all feel different. There's just a lot of flavor to them, which I think is just Obsidian's super good at writing. Yeah. Yep. Which I'm sure you probably already knew they were good at writing because of the South Park game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that was Trey and Parker.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Trey and
Oh.
Trey and Matt.
Well, we will talk more about Outer Worlds, but for now, Jeff, let's get into some news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
We got some
Darby.
catching up to do.
We do, Darby. We do. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna start with 3 different headlines from the week that we missed that we just kind of want to talk about.
Speaking of Fallout.
Yep. So first thing, we're talking about the Fallout 76 subscription service, Fallout First. I'm not gonna read off anything, as people probably know it, but get general opinions from
just
me.
Get a little bit of us. It was so funny that this whole thing happened right when Outer Worlds was coming out.
The timing couldn't be better for Microsoft and Obsidian. It's also funny, the Xbox Game Pass Twitter has some spunk.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned something about Fallout and all that kind of stuff. It's and the Xbox Game Pass thing actually responded to it. When they were talking shit about Fallout and praising Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
It's That's some spunk right there.
They'll take some shots on there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't, like, go read up on this Fallout 76 subscription service that's costs
$100.
It costs more than Xbox Game Pass, and then I did see Xbox Game Pass being like, or you can spend less money.
Wait, I think I know what it was like. Yeah, you can spend $100 for this service, or you can pay less than that to play New Vegas and Outer Worlds. And Xbox was like, works for us.
Like, oof.
Yeah. And well, it's not even just that; it's for a bunch of random crap and a private servers that aren't so private and are not so working.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some Adams, Jeff. Don't forget the Adams.
The Adams. How could I forget? So
I just can't understand who the hell at Bethesda thinks that after all of Fallout 76's problems, that this is the answer and that this is going to go well. Like, you have to know when you do this, the backlash you're going to see. I mean, like, maybe I'd be interested to see what the actual numbers of people subscribing are, and like, is it actually more than we think? With all of us saying this, I can't imagine that it would be, but like, I don't like a dying game. It's a dying and like a failure of a game for the most part, at least compared to what they would have projected. I have to imagine. And your answer is to, like, it's not like it's going free to play. It's just there's this additional, you can pay $100 a year.
Oh yeah, not to mention, along with this, they announced that feature everyone wanted, NPCs, was getting delayed.
Yeah, that's also, even if you're going to do this subscription service, if you know that you're delaying, you're putting NPCs in the game, and that you were already made fun of enough for that being a big deal, if you know you're delaying that, just delay the damn subscription service. Just delay it until you have that.
But Darby, then they couldn't make money now.
It's just comical. It was just like, boom, boom. It was like, how bad could this get? I don't know, but... All right. Here's your clickbait headline. Are we worried about Bethesda? Like, I know we've talked about this before, but like,
Bethesda Game Studios, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, here's the thing, and I don't think I'm wrong. They haven't made a hit game as far as like commercially and critically this generation
since 2011. Skyrim.
Yeah, and they keep on relying on Skyrim, and we have no reason to, and we've said this a lot, we have no reason to believe in Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 will be.
It is so far away from being like a day one thing. It is. Those days are past. I mean, like Cyberpunk, I would pre-order buy immediately or whatever. And I know we're having the same conversation we normally have, but it's just, yeah, they have definitely lost the benefit of the doubt.
I'm kind of happy that, just generally speaking, that the other developers within Bethesda, that's not Bethesda Game Studios, is, they're thought of different entities enough to where Game Studios fuck ups don't affect like id Software and Doom.
Right, yeah.
Because Doom looked great and is doing everything right from what I can tell.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. This is just I legitimately thought when I read it, it did read like a hard drive article. It didn't seem real.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
So, Darby, you want to talk about more bad news that...
Yeah, it's less egregious, but still sad.
Yeah, but in the end, it will be good, probably.
Yeah, it will be good, yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. I should have looked up that date.
How dare you, Shuhei Yoshida.
How dare you.
In May now.
May 29th.
May 29th.
A whole
2020.
3 months.
The year of our Lord 2020.
Yep. So a whole 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest weirdness about this is that they announced the release date like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, longer than that now, since we were recording.
I know. 3 weeks ago from when this happened. Yeah. That was the weirdest thing because it's like I don't think anyone would is that surprised about the delay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well,
a
they're
whole.
surprised just because of how close.
Like if it wasn't for that, like
close announcement.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think it just shows kind of how turbulent video game development can be. Like, it gets to the point you can find something like suddenly they realize like, oh, there's this just game breaking bug or thing that oh, we're gonna have to redo so much stuff because of this. We need more time. That can happen fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm okay with this because 3 months is, in the grand scheme of things, not that long. And it's not like we're lacking things to play around that time.
Now I can
now you can actually play Ori.
I can play Ori and probably maybe have time to finish it before Final Fantasy 7.
You got 3 weeks. You should.
I don't have to worry about trying to play Ori, trying to play The Last of Us, and then trying to play Final Fantasy 7. I can just take it a little bit more easy.
And luckily, the main thing that would get in the way of Last of Us is Cyberpunk if we're not done by then, which we won't be. No. But at least Cyberpunk's the game's like, okay, we've been playing this a lot. We can take a little break.
I have completely mentally accepted that I'm going to play Cyberpunk in addition to other games.
Yeah.
If I only played Cyberpunk until I was done, I would not play anything the rest of the year.
But now the only thing about The Last of Us, and we'll talk about this game a little later, it's pretty close to Avengers. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is any chance I had, if they turn it around, probably pushed back because Cyberpunk, Last of Us are much higher priorities, and that I can imagine that'll be changing.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so I mean, it's not something I'm mad about. Take as much time. I would rather the game be great, People
came up with some crazy conspiracy theories about this delay. It's weird. Also, in addition to news related to this, Jason Schreier, who obviously knows stuff, as we've talked about multiple times.
He's all right.
Yeah. Said that Ghost of Tsushima has been internally delayed because of delay of The Last of Us Part 2. It sounded like Ghost of Tsushima might have been planned to launch around that time.
Yeah.
But it's been pushed back to the latter half of 2020, but hasn't been pushed back to be PS5 title or launching in there.
Right.
So there is that.
Yeah, I mean, all of these games, Death Stranding, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, are all going to probably eventually be on PS5.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Or PS5 would just be backwards compatible, and that'll be it.
But it's kind of just like, okay, Ghost of Tsushima sounds like it's going well. They have a general plan of it. They're just pushing it back because they don't want it going up against close to Last of Us.
Yeah, it makes me think that we're almost 100% it's coming out next year. It's just a matter of when now. The fact that, it might have been planned to have been early. So, hopefully that means we won't get Ghost of Tsushima delays. Hopefully that means it just will come out in fall, maybe even September or something. It could even be earlier fall. Yeah. That would be pretty sweet. That'd be a big year for Sony.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what that PS5 launch like is.
Yeah.
NAC 3, baby!
We're actually skipping to NAC 4. Who needs to just get it right?
NAC 4 is so good, it skips a number.
There's 4 NACs. You control 4 NACs at once. Just go across the screen.
Yeah.
Afraid praise be.
Okay, so last old news thing. This is going to be a much quicker one, but we talked about it and said we would give updates for it, so that's what we're doing. Mike Ybarra, who quit Microsoft recently, has joined Blizzard. What bad timing.
I was about to say, this probably looked a lot better whenever he signed the document, a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think he's a vice president or something.
Yeah, that probably sounded a lot better back then, but yeah, oof. Good luck, buddy. Good luck, buddy.
All right, have fun.
It's definitely a turbulent time over at Blizzard, undeniably.
Mm-hmm. All right, at end, The Last of Us delay gives me more time to play the game of the year, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Call it. Jeff's calling the shot.
Yeah, there's a new trailer recently. All the non-combat stuff looks really good. Combat just looks serviceable at best. Because it just looks like the Xenoverse combat, but looks visually more appealing.
And that's all you need.
That's all we need. But also one of those things if just because it's Dragon Ball, I'm like, yeah, how much more can they actually do with the combat? Like,
all right, they could do. You could, just because they don't make good Dragon Ball games, you could make good Dragon Ball combat. That's more interesting.
But I'm talking about more the whole 3D.
This just kind of feels like justifying bad combat, saying like, oh, but how can they do this?
It's just no. Okay, this is what I'm getting at is maybe no one's just broken the code, but. Yeah, there hasn't been a 3D like anime fighter type thing that I would consider legitimately.
No, because they don't put budget into them, and why should they? Because they sell a bunch despite being garbage. No, that is obviously it. Like Jump Force looks.
Well, the combat had nothing to do with Jump Force's problems as far as the main complaints.
No, but like most of these are just kind of like churned out. They're not given near the like time or respect as like.
This game is getting the time and respect. It's not necessarily maybe with the combat. Yeah. That remains to be seen, though.
But I will push back hard on you can't make good Dragon Ball combat. You absolutely could. Like, it's a bunch of...
Okay, maybe you could make the wrong word. Like, excellent combat. Like, that's what we're going to be talking about with the game type
I think you could. You absolutely could. Just like anything. Like, it's a bunch of... It is a video game-ass thing. It's a bunch of people with different abilities. They can shoot beams, fly around, do all this. Like, there's so much you could do with that. There's a ton you could do.
There is, but the Dragon Ball fans are very particular, and there are people who actually really like the combat.
I mean, but yeah, they will. I'm just saying, me and you, there could be a game that would be like the Dragon Ball Fighters for a different genre. You know, like... And a bunch of people would probably not like it because people suck.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I keep on adding these little things, but this is kind of what I mean. To appeal to the mass audience, they want the bang bang, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It feeling completely like Dragon Ball. And
I mean, that's the other part of it is the Xenoverse and all these other games. They like add everything in the kitchen sink because they know that people just want to see like, oh, freaking Gogeta Man's in it.
Gogeta's a character.
Gogeta Man. It's a completely different one.
Is he related to the Great Saiyan Man?
Yes. Yeah, it's Gogeta and the Great Saiyan Man fused.
Man, they're going to get a time. It's like, man, they're talking about Mike Ybarra longer than you would think. It's like, nope, it's mostly Dragon Ball.
All right, we can move
on. It's all about anime. Okay, Darby, we're going to do a thing. We're going to do a hype check / trailer roundup.
Check my hype.
We got 5 different things here. We're going to see how hyped we are. The most of these, well, it's a mixture of us both, and talk about recent trailers and all that kind of.
Let's do it. Trailer time. Trailer Jones.
He just did a Trailer Jones on one of these. You probably guessed which one.
The Persona 5, the Scramble, right?
Yes. But first, we're going to talk about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They released the launch trailer for this. I don't know why they call them launch trailers when they're like 2 weeks or so before it. That's not a launch trailer. That's just a trailer.
No, it's just a lie is what it is, Jeff.
Stop lying to me. Okay. So it's a minute-long trailer. So in a way, it's not even a trailer.
Yeah, not a whole lot there, but we did get to see like a lot of in-game models and like in-game models doing combat stuff. Not a ton to glean for it.
So notice the main reason I brought it up here is you are a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
You'd like a good Star Wars game, I believe.
Oh,
right. And after the previews come out, we didn't really talk about it. I mainly put this here to get your hype level. Check your hype level for this.
It's gone up considerably after those previews.
They were pretty glowing, and I think obviously we got to wait to see about the story. How good that's going to be because we have to see the whole game for it. But a big thing was the combat and how it felt. Yeah. And you see a lot of stuff compared to like Sekiro and a whole bunch of... I think Horizon might be
for a lot of people. are saying it's like a more mass appeal Sekiro or Dark Souls. Like it's obviously not as grueling and stuff like that.
But and that sounds like a U-type thing.
Yes, because the Souls games are a little much for me. But but conceptually it's awesome. And also the other thing is we heard after E3. Like, we saw the E3 trailers and everything, and then after the fact, people said, oh, yeah, this game has a lot of Metroidvania elements. And we're like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I just saw. But, like, those previews, people really actually did get to see that. And they're like, no, legit. Like, you are going back to, like, old planets and, like, using new abilities. Like, it is like a Metroidvania in a lot of ways. It's like an Uncharted mixed with Metroidvania mixed with Souls. And I'm like, that sounds like a pretty cool mix. Like,
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, so from a gameplay perspective, I'm getting less and less worried about this game. My biggest concern now is that even through multiple story trailers, like, I really don't care about this protagonist. Like, they're not really getting me to, like, the protagonist and even a lot of the other characters just feel cookie cutter. It is just trailers, so who knows?
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to, like, we're going to be sitting with this character for 16 hours. I don't know how long. Maybe 20 hours. How long this is going to be.
That's honestly sounds about right based on what we know.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
And I can't trust trailers anymore because Arthur Morgan went from what I thought would be like one of the most bland protagonists to like the best protagonist in a video game ever. Like, once I played it. So
true.
But no, hype's pretty good. Like a lot higher than I thought it was. I think this will probably be a day one game now, especially since my sister is interested in watching me play it, and we haven't played the game in a while. So,
well, if you haven't played that many games, it'd be good for you to talk about that one here.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks polished. It looks looks like cool. As long as the story is able to, like I hope the story is not too predictable and too by the books for Star Wars. And I do think there is like I think the story is probably going to be the weakest part of this. Mm-hmm. I hope it is still good. It's still fun to keep up with.
I just hope the protagonist becomes the Joker at the end.
Yep, that's been the whole twist.
Yep,
and he's gonna do the dance down the stairs because we're mixing.
And then the plot twist at the end, where he is actually Luke's father and hands him a Joker card.
It's like he looks
from one Joker to another,
and he looks directly to the camera and he says, "That's canon."
Gotcha.
All right, what's
George
our next?
Lucas comes out. It's like, this is canon, folks.
You can't take this away.
It's in your mind forever.
Write it on the way. Start the Wikipedia article. Hit edit. Get writing. This is in, baby. It's in.
Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. That does happen. It will be my game of the year. I won't even play it, but that'll be my game of the year.
Of course. Oh boy.
Just the rage of Star Wars fans to make it worth it.
Those sweet Star Wars fan tears.
Speaking of Star Wars fan tears, let's talk about something
completely unrelated stuff.
Hey, they're by the same company.
Everything's owned by that company.
True.
Marvel's Avengers.
There's a new overview trailer where they just really start going over what we knew about A-Day and all that. Then they go over the loot and customization. And how stories or the missions are structured and all the different missions. Skill trees. Skins.
Metal Gear. Otacon.
You see Kamala become big.
ASMR. Yeah. Brother. Sunday. Gravedigger.
Okay, so let's actually talk about the trailer.
Okay. Yeah. I think this has been the most clear that this game has actually been about the mission structure, because like at the end they talked about they kind of had the map and the different missions, and they said these are the single player campaign missions that go
They're kind of
the
designed
story.
around certain characters for the story.
Yeah, and they even like talked about like you have this ship that will like get more, it'll get like more revamped as you go through the story. Like all of that sounds like an Uncharted, or like it sounds like an RPG, like a game, a single player game that you're going through. And then they're like, and then this is the multiplayer, like other stuff. So this definitely made it be like, hey, look, these are two separate things, which like it honestly gets me more excited, because it's like I'm getting more faith that this is going to be a fun single player experience, and then also you can do fun.
So I might be completely wrong in this, so take this with a huge grain of salt. Mm-hmm. But I think I saw somewhere that the 6 characters we know are the only characters playable on the story.
Okay.
Which would honestly make me feel better about it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Because they're not having to, at least for the story part of it, have to try to come up with some crazy or whatever, less play styles.
And then I wonder, like, in the future, will they, like, when they add new content in the future, will it always be, here's the single player content and here's the multiplayer content? Or will the single player campaign just be what it is, and from here on out it's all like multiplayer stuff?
I think they'll add some kind of like maybe some single player kind of story stuff to kind of, gets background on this universe's version of characters.
Yeah.
Because we know Ant-Man's coming. They already showed
And
him.
then also I want to know, like, these, when they said, and here are the multiplayer missions, how exactly do they tie in? Is it like side stories? It's like, oh, Iron Man and Hulk are going to go do this or whatever, or does it really tie in with the main story? Like, and are you missing out if you only do the single player campaign? Like, are you missing out?
Yeah, I got a feeling.
Because you got to have a way for you to not feel like you're missing out if you don't do those multiplayer things, but also those multiplayer things shouldn't feel like completely pointless. Like they have no impact,
I have a feeling it's going to be so-and-so's attacking Paris.
Yeah.
Avengers, go. Pick your character and go.
Might be pretty surface level.
Yeah. I hope not, but that's my fear.
Yeah. And honestly, none of this changes the fact that whenever we saw the combat, I thought it looked terrible. Like, I honestly think that last gameplay thing that they showed, none of those characters looked fun to play. So I'm still probably pretty out on this game unless it really starts to come around. But at least like the structure of the game seems to be more my my speed, and I do like how this trailer is doubling down more on Kamala Khan being the main character. Like, I just think that's cool. This is a cool different.
They're going all in on her.
Yeah,
like just Marvel as a company.
It's cool.
Just your own Disney Plus show. I'm gonna be in the MCU.
So what's your hype level of interest?
It's rising a little bit, but it's like we mentioned before. We were talking about The Last of Us. Probably not gonna be a day one just on the basis of Cyberpunk and Last of Us being too close to all that. So, and that'll just be good because I can see impression to get an idea of how much I want this game and all that.
Yeah, I definitely want to see, like, is this a game that we're still talking about fall?
Yeah,
of 2020. Yeah,
it's got a lot of competition.
Of course, sure does. Sure does.
Okay, Darby, let's talk about something. I don't know if you're excited about
this. Isn't a video game.
I mean, technically not even based on a video game, but screw it.
That's right.
The Witcher Netflix series, which is coming December 20th. We got a new trailer for.
And it was a dope-ass trailer. It's another dope-ass trailer. We're 2 in a row. Yeah, no.
And we actually heard Henry Cavill speak as Geralt, and
he looks great. He sounds great. Yeah. Everything, like, he seems like Geralt, like, by somehow I'm completely bought in. They did the top thing. They did the top thing. Show us his dick, cowards. Come on.
Yeah, so just partly as a test, and because I figured she'd like it, I showed my mom the trailer.
I did the same thing to my parents.
And she said she's in.
My parents said the same thing.
So I really do think if the show's good, it will be a pretty sizable hit.
I was like, my biggest fear in this was that Netflix was not going to give it the budget that it needed, and I do think a Witcher show is one of those that can't get away with a low budget. Like, you needed to be able to go on. There's too many
looks like they're giving it a pretty big budget.
I think it's pretty clear that whoever pitched Netflix on this was saying, we're going to have the next Game of Thrones, and then Netflix investors were like, take our money. You know, like, I really feel like that's obviously what happened, and I think it's so much better for the show. And I mean, the production value, like, there's going to be a lot of special effects in this, and which is what I was concerned about. I'm not concerned anymore. I think they are going for it, and it visually looks awesome. The pacing of the trailer was really good. I bought, like, all the characters just, voice acting wise, like Henry Cavill, like, he seems great. I do think I've read some of the Witcher books, not all of them. And like my brother-in-law and sister have read all of them, and they know them a lot more than me. It definitely does seem like they're going and they're veering off a decent bit from the books. It appears like, I think a lot, like some of the characters just seem like in completely different situations or different ages, or they don't.
Yeah,
look
I
right.
heard of some people in comments say like, it doesn't make sense for. I don't know. I'm just gonna say her name. Trish being here at this point in time or something.
Yeah, and like
age-wise compared to
Trish is supposed to be like a lot younger than Yennefer, but I think in this, it almost looks like the other way around in this. Or at least there's not that. They don't look like they're really supposed to in the books. So this could be something that like I might love this, you might love this, but then like my sister and brother-in-law hate it because it's not faithful to the books. So we'll see how it goes. but it at least seems like tone wise, it feels like the books come to life. Like even if they veer off some, just hopefully if they veer off, they justify why they did it.
So, Darry, I think it goes without saying, we're going to watch this and we will do a spoiler cast on it.
Yeah. And
I'm sure that, I wonder if they said how long the season's going to be.
I don't know. Yeah,
they probably have, but
they probably have at some point.
Now, but
yeah, we'll have more time to talk about it. But it'll be interesting for this to be your first, Witcher thing, and hopefully this is so good and has such a cool tone to it that you're like, I kind of want to play that game,
Yeah. I mean, I always want to play it.
I'm sure you're going to play it at some point. It's just
really kind of finding the time to play that game, especially with the schedule we have coming up.
Yeah, I think you have to do what I did and play it intermediately in between things and just.
It's just at this point, since I'm kind of so behind on it anyway, I might as well not even start this a year within Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that is fair. But yeah, at least we'll both be able to watch the show.
I have it. It's going to be played at some point. That is.
And this show is not going to be quite like Game of Thrones. When I watch Game of Thrones, like, I'm not saying I'm the biggest super fan, but like I know those books pretty well. So when things happen, I'm like, oh, this. I know almost too much about the source material to enjoy the adaptation, especially in the later seasons. This is not that. I've read some, but there's a whole bunch I don't know. So, me and you will be coming from more of a similar spot, especially since these are not based off the games whatsoever. So.
It is funny reading comments on like Resetero and people see trailers like, oh my god, they changed his necklace. What are they doing? It's like, this is based off the book and not the game. It is very. It is exactly like the book. It's like, that's funny.
Or there was also so many people like, they didn't, what the hell, they didn't give them the double swords. Like they don't understand The Witcher at all. It's like, that was just the game. That was not the
isn't
books.
It pretty much he just leaves it on Roach?
Yeah. He only holds one sword. He does have the two swords. He just doesn't hold them on his person, like in the back. But like the two swords have become iconic because of the games. But yeah, there's a lot of people not understanding what's happening.
No. But I'm happy this is looking as good as it is.
Yeah, I am too. I'm so pleasantly surprised.
Yep. Okay.
Speaking of things looking better than they had right to.
Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, baby. Got a release date for Japan, I think it's like February or something.
Jeff, they're going to make me play a movie.
Yeah, let's go. Make Darby play a Muso.
So yeah, the context is I hate Muso games. I mean, like,
I love them.
I mean, like, I don't want to be one of those people who's just like, I blanket, I hate this. But like, every Muso, like, it's just the entire concept of Musos from top to down is just so boring to me. I just hate the just fighting mobs of people over, and I just don't like them. And everyone I've played, I despise. It's like one of my least favorite genres there is. Which is what has me kind of bummed that they're going all out with this.
The reason Darby is so bummed is this is Atlas Words. This is a sequel to Persona 5. This is going to follow up the story, and there seem to be a lot of non-Muso combat stuff where you're actually doing the slice of life stuff. You're going around Japan. Looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, new locations that you didn't go to in Persona 5. So
there's some like areas from Persona 5, but like expanded. It's like, you get, it's like bigger.
And from what I've seen, that alone has made people like, I'm gonna have to buy a Muso game.
And like they have the full anime cutscenes and everything. Like, it looks beautiful, and there's like all these.
It sucks that I haven't played Persona 5 because based off that, this would have went to. I mean, I wasn't completely sold even if I got done with Persona 5 playing this game anyway, because I play so many Musos and I'm kind of more into the One Piece ones. Just those are really fun. But if I had finished it, this would have made this, and the trailer would have made it good. Like, this is a day one buy, no questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably going to be something like I'm really going to be looking at people on Resetera and Reddit and seeing like, how essential is this?
Yeah.
Because
how much story is it?
Yeah, because
how good is it?
If it just feels like P4 arena type story, and it's like, all right, then I can sit this out. This is fine. Like how essential is this to continuing the story? And if it is, then I might end up getting it. I mean, I've had the itch. Like I will. I was about to buy the music games, but the music games actually appeal to me so much more than this. I almost wish that the story was in the music games or P5 Arena or anything else. But no, it looks good from all the aspects there, not the Muso part.
I'll give this game at some point. Actually, I'm going to play Persona 5 first. I'm probably going to play R.
So it's probably a ways off.
I mean, it would have been anyway. I mean, that just gives me more reason to, makes me feel okay with waiting for R. But because there's so many things.
But you're also you, and you'll play the 100 hours of Persona 5 in 2 days somehow. You'll. It doesn't even make sense with time, but you'll somehow do it.
Yeah. I need the new waifu.
I mean, Ryuji's not enough of a waifu for you.
No. Man,
Persona 5 is such a damn good game, man.
But they should take out the homophobic stuff.
No, they should. They also should take, I don't know if they have homophobic stuff, but sexist stuff out of Dragon Quest and a lot of Japanese JRPGs. Anyway, we got more hype checks. One more.
We got one more. We got the Pokemon Derby.
Oh, so, it seems like the whole damn thing leaked.
The floodgates are open. We are in a
get your life vest.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm not going to spoil everything that's happening right now for you people going.
The final boss is Knack and Colonel Sanders.
Oh, there are no story spoilers out there. They're only Pokemon. The most I'm gonna do is say general things that I honestly can't imagine people who even avoiding spoilers would be upset with knowing, how many Pokemon there are, how many new ones, and all that. If anything,
is our baby boy Pichu in?
I mean, yeah, because Pikachu's in, of course.
I don't know. Pikachu's so popular, they might have just ditched everything else, and you just get Pikachu immediately.
So what I am going to do here is say just a couple general things, how I feel about them, and just for the fun of reactions, I'm going to show Darby a couple of the leaked Pokemon. Mainly, I'm not going to show him Grookey because we're Grookey boys. We need his reaction for that. I'll probably
ride or die.
Show him Sobble and Scorbunny's final evolutions. I will show him definitely one Gigantamax form that I have to show him.
Okay.
And then probably
contractually obligated. Yeah.
So general things. It looks like there are, at least based on leaks of how caught up I am, about 100 new Pokemon, Darby. If you include, I don't know if that includes Gigantamax forms. I hope it doesn't. I don't think it does.
They're not a new Pokemon.
No, but the
list, a version of...
Yeah. I don't know if that list I saw. I saw a list of all the names and the number at the end is what I took from. It was 90-something, but that's including all the Galarian forms and stuff, so... Even if, for some reason, the Gigantamax forms counted on there, there's still new Pokemon that people are finding when I stopped after I saw that list.
Yeah.
There are a lot more Pokemon than they're showing. They are just doing the thing of, we're showing you the bare minimum, and so you can discover it yourself. And I appreciate that. I just have no self-control.
I was about to say, I think that's so cool, but apparently Jeff just wants to ruin it for himself anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But I'm happy to... see, there are so many new Pokemon. From the Galarian forms to Gigantamaxes, there is still a general focus, but there is, from what we can see, more outside of them. Outside Gen 1. Some of them very surprising. That these, of all the Pokemon, these are the ones they decided to make different forms for.
Yeah.
I appreciate their Moxie, though.
Yeah. Especially the one that you thought about, yeah.
Yeah. So, all that makes me happy, makes me more excited for the game. So, let's get to this showing you the Pokemon Derby. Let's see if you are okay with your choice.
I'm definitely happy that wasn't the other shoe that dropped. It's and after all these other, disappointing things about Sword and Shield, also, there's barely any new Pokemon in it.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot. Okay. So,
let's get it.
Darby, I'm going to show you Sobble's final form.
All right, he's sad boy. He's going to turn into a Chad, I'm just assuming.
Actually, I'll show you his middle form Do I have? Yeah. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not because the picture has.
He turns into an emo kid and then a Chad.
Yes.
I nailed it.
Kind of pretty much, I guess. You may not consider it a Chad, but the confidence exudes made me think of a Chad. I'm not going to show you the middle form because it has Grookey's middle form in the same picture. So
yeah, can't have that. Can't have that. You gotta save me. Ooh, look at that face. Look at that man. That is a smooth criminal right there.
Oh yeah, something I appreciate.
Smooth criminal.
In the pocket, because I am going to be free with the leaks that are longer standing that we've talked about. Wait, I don't know if I wasn't playing on.
Yeah, that's right. It's the most sexual Pokemon.
So it's been long known that the Pokemon's gonna have a spy theme. Something something you appreciate. You know what Sable's number is in the Pokedex?
No.
007.
Oh, spicy.
So what do you think of Inteleon, Darby?
That's right. Oh, Inteleon's a good name too. That's pretty good. I like it. That's pretty good.
Now let's show.
It wasn't as Chad as I thought, but yeah, it's better.
Let's show you Score Bunnies. Right. Final.
It's gonna be lame. Bugs Bunny ass motherfucker. I swear to God, if he's a sumo wrestler.
No, actually, I'm gonna show you his middle form first.
Oh, what? Oh, is he a ninja?
I think he's more a delinquent because he turns into a soccer player.
The hell? What the fuck?
That's the most Digimon ass Pokemon.
He's kind of cool looking.
I agree.
Yeah,
I like all the starters.
Yeah, it's just really, really random. I guess like there's also like the soccer fields and it's Europe and everything in this.
100%.
Yeah.
So also I will say this.
Definitely better though.
To wait off some disappointment, all the starters stay one type. They're regular type. So has that like for many generations has that not? It been usually has a second typing to it to help it stand apart from other starters and just other Pokemon with this type. So they're going back to the all one type thing.
It's not like going all the way back to Gen 1 or something?
Gen 2's even Gen 1 didn't do it because the grass Bulbasaur is also poison type and Charizard's also a flying type.
Interesting.
So let's see.
Yeah, weird choice, but
yep. Okay, now I got to show you Gigantamax Garbodor.
Yes.
Look at this man.
That's a terrifying man. He has a boat.
It's a wind up.
A boat and an airplane in this mass. Oh god, he has a Jigglypuff.
That's a Clefairy.
Oh jeez. Is that a building? Or is that a Lego block, I guess?
That's a building.
Good god. This terrifying man. Like you said, I wish there was like corpses. Just like skeletons like hanging out of them.
Yep. Okay, let's see. What other ones would be potentially...
It's pretty terrifying.
Do you remember Impidimp?
That's a great name. I definitely have heard that name before.
Okay.
Can you describe it?
I'm going to show you real quick. Impidimp. I'm
trying to think of all
this Pokemon is very interesting because they keep on showing him in everything, but they don't announce him officially. We know his name. It's even in the demo that people have played.
Funny. Man, I don't think I've seen him. Yeah, he's a little imp.
And this is
Impidimp.
This is its evolved form.
Ooh.
Darby.
He looks like
his name is Morgrem.
Morgrem. He looks like Morgrem. He looks like the Incubus in Persona 5.
Yeah. Now, Darby, it evolves again.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good though.
Meet Grimmsnarl.
Oh god. Oh my god. See, Jeff, this is why we can't like show me all of them because like every the reactions are gonna be too good on this stream, but I'm like, what the hell?
Yep.
I was like, we can't do it.
I'm not gonna show you the Wooloo evolution.
No.
But I will show you My Little Pony. It's Galarian Rapidash will be the last one.
That's cute. I like that.
That's what we get from getting Pokemon Shield.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Instead of
Unicorn
Surfetched. And there are a bunch of other cool Pokemon. Yep. So I'm gonna have a hard time picking a team. What I'm probably gonna do is, honestly, since there's so many cool Pokemon, it's with the EXP share. Probably have technically 2 teams full of Pokemon to switch in and out as things go along. Because I probably will be able to do that with minimal grinding.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
At least in my own personal play.
I'm excited. I'm excited to play a new Pokemon in this way. Like on my own, I would not be interested enough to keep it going. But like with you in a Nuzlocke stream and everything, I'm excited.
Honestly,
it'll be cool to see all the new Pokemon.
What makes me
but like I said, like seeing these new Pokemon is one of the central things I'm excited about. So I really don't want to see any more than you just showed me.
I just wanted to show you those couple because the start of things, we're not going to see those unless we battle them anyway. Potentially, it may not even do that. So. See them, so no problem showing those in the Rapidash as a Galarian form and old Pokemon. Wasn't that great? I just really want to show you in BDM because I love that line.
In BDM. What was the final one?
Grimmsnarl.
But
it is fantastic. Like based on everything we've seen, there's just so many good Pokemon. Like this might be one of the stronger gens as far as overall design, in my opinion.
Yeah. They're getting weird. T-Boy.
Yeah.
T-Boy is pretty weird.
Yeah, and also has a pre-evolution. And
he's like a tea bag.
But there's so many strong designs in this. So as far as my own personal playthrough, where I use only new Pokemon.
Yeah.
Means I can use a lot of variety. But also makes it exciting as far as the Nuzlocke doing it with you also at the same time. Because there are a bunch of old Pokemon in there too. Be able to obviously use some of the new Pokemon that I'm not using in my own thing, and then use even some older Pokemon that I haven't used before. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about... Let me open up my phone to see that timer. We're going to talk about that BlizzCon.
Before we talk about this next thing, I will probably include a link in the description, but I just want to encourage everyone listening to this to donate to the Hong Kong protesters. I'll link to the same place that I donated myself. I think it's a very worthy cause, and I think you should do it.
Pichu says free Hong Kong.
Pichu does say free Hong Kong.
Sorry, Alex, for making your Pichu make political statements.
Keep your politics out.
Okay, so we're not going to go crazy into a lot of the BlizzCon announcements. So we're not going to talk like about Diablo 4 and the World of Warcraft stuff or
right.
But I think you wanted to say Diablo 4 trailer might be the best trailer you've ever seen.
Yeah, and like I want to stress might because I haven't like really given it thought, but I went into that trailer and I'm like, I'm not a Diablo guy at all, but it's like I'll watch this, whatever. Like it's a hype thing. And I saw it's 10 minutes. I'm like, I guess I'll still watch it. I'm gonna watch it. And like it's just a really, really well shot. It's one of those like it tells a story and it goes through it. And it's again like I kind of want Blizzard to keep making shots at movies, even though the Warcraft one didn't work out, because they know something about like cinematography and just like I don't know how it built was just so cool, and it was like kind of fucked up like in a cool way, which I think Diablo, like the original Diablo, had more of a darker tone. They kind of like went away from that, and at least from this trailer, it's like this looks like a horror, like a very like supernatural horror movie. It was just, and it had like the climax that like build up. It was just a really, really well done trailer. I want to see Brandon do that one because it was just so well done. Maybe I'm alone in being like so awestruck from it, but it was really good
too.
Yeah.
But just in case you didn't catch on, the trailer he did was him and Blood sitting down and talking about Witcher.
Ah, nice. I will watch that. Yeah.
So before we get, we're mainly going to be talking about the Overwatch 2 stuff. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about how they opened their little thing.
Yeah.
With the apology.
Yeah.
Guy comes out, apologizes, doesn't say the words Hong and Kong.
No. It's a lot more, it's more dancing around.
Yeah, more dancing around. It's like, oh, we'll do better, blah, blah, blah. Not even talk about the actual issue why people were mad, really.
Yeah.
And words are cheap. You got to show that you can, you can follow those words and do what you're saying. And based on what they said leading up to that statement and what the fact that they didn't even talk about taking any action really during that statement, we have no reason to believe them.
No.
So pretty much what I plan on doing as far as this, I won't keep away from talking about Blizzard stuff when there's news, but I probably will preface it with the Hong Kong stuff until they actually.
Oh yeah, I mean,
until they actually do something significant about it.
I think that is the way to go, and just like we don't need to launch into this whole discussion again, because I mean we probably will discuss it again in the future, and we already did a lot. But I mean, it's one of those like I think you are valid. I think like avoiding Blizzard things, boycotting stuff or whatever, I think is very valid. Also, you're not a bad person for not doing it, but I also think that you need to be active. There's because you can easily get down the rabbit hole of, well, you're boycotting Blizzard, but you're also using an Apple phone, and Apple did the same thing or whatever. But also, if you go down that rabbit hole, then you'll never do anything. You'll never actually make change anywhere.
I was gonna say I hate when people do that, because so you just want to close down any all discussion.
Yeah,
that's.
But in the same token, I also hate when I've seen a lot of people online like yelling at people for being excited about Overwatch, and it's like sent on my iPhone and everything. I mean, it's like, okay, I get you're mad about this, but you can't scream at someone for boycotting this while you're also like everyone can't do everything.
Yeah,
and it's just and the same people screaming at people, they're also not doing everything. That also bugs me. It bugs me on both sides. Like when people like laser on this one thing and get mad at people for not being, not protesting in their same way. For some people, like their way of protesting is not playing Blizzard games. For me, Blizzard is a good way that I bond with one of my best friends, and it's a good activity. I love their games or whatever. For me, I donated like $100 to the Hong Kong protest, and I'll probably donate more when it's needed. Like everyone kind of has to fight in their own way. And also another way is, I definitely, anytime we talk about Blizzard, I want to use the opportunity to also put whatever small megaphone me and you have on that. So go donate. Anyway, let's talk about Overwatch.
Okay, this stuff comes from Michael Domenico and Jordan Serrani from IGN. Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan officially announced Overwatch 2 at Blizzcon today. The game will feature story missions similar to some of Overwatch's seasonal events, hero missions, replayable co-op modes, hero leveling up, and hero customization. Overwatch 2 will also have a new PvP mode called Push, new maps, and multiple new heroes, including Sojourn, seen in the trailer, who is Canadian. No release date has been announced by Blizzard for the new game. According to Kaplan, he has absolutely no clue when it's coming out. I just gotta, we'll talk about it. Overwatch 2 will be available on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The game's core competitive version will be called Push. Kaplan said the core game mode will be played in quick play, competitive, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try to get through this quickly, at least get the important things. Overwatch players will get to play on the brand new Overwatch 2 maps and as the new heroes. Kaplan said it was a shared multiplayer environment where no one gets left behind. In other words, multiplayer PvP will be possible across 2 titles. Cosmetics will also transfer Overwatch 2, so Overwatch players' progress is not lost. In the new Push game mode, 2 teams will compete to have a robot push an objective to the opposite opponent's side. As it stands, Overwatch currently has 4 standard games modes, blah, blah, blah. Whoever pushes the robot deeper into the opponent's territory wins. Sojourn is the first new hero for Overwatch 2. She is the first Canadian hero, according to Kaplan, and will be at the center of the sequel story. Additional new characters that you love, characters you've been waiting for, according to Kaplan, will be announced at a later date. 3 new maps have been announced: Toronto, Gothenburg, and Monte Carlo. And the first story mission will take place in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. The maps were designed to be the ideal version of each location. Red Maples, ice rinks, and a statue of a hockey player in Toronto, for example. Each was made in part by developers in their respective cities. And there's a lot of stuff that we'll bring up.
Yeah.
So, Darby, I'm just going to say it as someone who's a lot more casual. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. We keep on talking about how they're going to do a sequel. They're just going to keep it Overwatch 1 and just continue add stuff forever, what they're going to do. And honestly, just on a service level, I think this is the best way they could have done it to get audience in, because there are a bunch of people that love the Overwatch characters but don't care for the multiplayer aspect necessarily, or don't want to get too far.
or at least just want to explore it in other ways. In addition,
or wanted story from it because.
Because they hint so at such rich lore, but then we don't actually really get to see it.
Yeah, we don't see it other than the cinematic stuff they make every I don't know 6 months or whatever the hell it is,
if that.
But having all this stuff and having the fact that the competitive modes are going to be the same through both titles, honestly, I think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I think you can agree, Overwatch 2 just sounds like a glorified expansion.
Oh, yeah, it does. It does, but also kind of the other, like, great thing and, like, a thing that they didn't have to do. They could have gotten away with making it more exclusive to Overwatch 2. The way this sounds, if you like you said, glorified expansion, if that turns you off from spending $60 and you're someone who, like, only cares about the multiplayer and don't care about this single player stuff at all, you don't have to buy this game.
No.
Overwatch 1 is going to get the same visual overhaul, and all the new characters that they're making for Overwatch 2 are going to come back to Overwatch 1. You absolutely, if you're not into PvE, don't buy this game. And it's okay not to. And Blizzard easily could have said, no, we're moving everything over there. You have to buy the new game. We're going to shut off the servers for the original one. That could have happened, and people would have been bummed, but it wouldn't have even been that much of an outrage. It would have been a normal video game thing. It's like, oh, that sucks.
Well, what makes me also feel good about this is the fact that stuff carries over. Makes me feel good about the fact when new consoles come, which I honestly think the reason this release anything was announced yet is because this is going to be on next gen consoles as well.
100%. Yeah.
So, which is where I will get Overwatch 2 then. That makes me feel better about the whole, stuff will carry over. I don't have to worry about the whole thing. New console. Now I got to start completely over. Not that I have as much as like you guys, but like for Olivia in particular,
right?
That stuff is huge.
Oh, and that's a lot of people were saying that was a deal breaker, and like it's one of those things I feel like Blizzard needed to do this because Overwatch was kind of sold as you're like everything you earn you're gonna have forever. It was sold as this is a platform, not like Overwatch 2 doesn't really seem like something that was ever supposed to happen. So they kind of it needed that, and like we were kind of hinting at, I mean, it really seems like almost every like concern that I feel like people had, like there's people who wanted the single player thing, people who didn't, people who are worried about their cosmetics carrying over. Like it kind of pleases everyone to some degree.
Yeah, because people worry about what a 2 is like. Oh, we'll have the carryover, and then they listen to the single player people. The multiplayer may not be much of anything in that thing.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be not necessarily the exact same thing. It's just gonna be continuously updated. You get a whole new like mode,
which I've wanted for years. Like we've had the same competitive modes or the competitive and quick play modes since launch.
Yeah, I would say none of these.
Cool.
They didn't. Is this the first one they've added since launch?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first other mode they've added. Like they add different maps for the different modes, but they've never added another mode,
which is huge. So yeah. And then we get one new hero right off the bat. They're announcing. I'm very curious, especially since we don't have a release date. Does this mean and you might know more of this, I'm sure you've dug in a lot more information than I have.
Maybe.
Yeah. If the new hero, what's her name? Sojourn.
Yeah.
If she's gonna be kept until Overwatch 2 releases, or just gonna be a thing of she's going to release like any other hero, but obviously, especially since stuff carries over, so I guess there's really no reason to maybe necessarily wait, and then the whole thing of she's a big story hero, so that's why we're pushing her now.
That definitely could be it. The other one, the blue robot lady who was in the cinematic,
that was McCree's run, right?
It was BlizzCon like last year. Everyone was assuming she was the next one. Like it could be one of those things that Sojourn doesn't come out until Overwatch 2, but then we have other hero releases. Like we have several other ones before her. But if that is the case, it is kind of weird to be like, you get Sojourn's announcement, but then you don't get her until like a full year at least away. Like, so that might not be the case, but that's what, if I had to put money, I would say that like she is not going to be there until Overwatch 2, but we're going to get people like, I always forget the blue robot lady's name, but her, and then they also hinted that there's a Omnic attack character, the damage character they hinted at in a different one.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for this because obviously I've talked about this before, and obviously I've really personally played Overwatch with you guys. It hasn't been a while, but I feel like since we're living together now, that we'll happen more frequently.
Me and Alex play like twice a week at least. So yeah, you can start playing with us.
I guess I'll try PC.
It's good. Once you get used to it,
once I get used to it, I know. I might as well try it.
Yeah,
it's
you
cheap
can
at
give
this
it a
point. But I'll just say I'm very excited for the story stuff, especially since in all the story stuff they see, it's always 4 characters, and that's perfect for
us. Yeah. And I definitely think that like it is definitely a wait and see. It's a very different than normal Overwatch. We'll have to see like how they handle it, but I totally could see that being really fun. And obviously we already have so much history with these characters, and like they already have a moveset, and it seems like they are carrying it. And obviously all of the upgrade stuff is only PvE, which is very, very, very important, very important. But if PvE basically just seems like we're gonna have fun with this, like it's gonna get like crazy, and it's taking all these abilities that really well from playing the game for hundreds of hours, and kind of like what kind of wacky crazy things can we do with this. Like there was Hanzo's arrow where he shoots and it reveals everyone around him. I saw like he shoots that and it reveals everyone, and then he shoots another arrow and it heat tracks all the people that it revealed.
And they showed one where Genji, where he just slashes and just sword slashes goes around the whole thing.
It does like his normal slash is like one like goes forward.
And Mei, where she's like an area effects ice spike attack.
And there was like pulse bomb for Tracer, like got everyone in there.
I'm curious. I don't think it'll be those moves we're just talking about, but I'm curious if this will potentially be a Mei testing ground for certain moves for characters, potentially for revamps.
Could be, yeah, could be.
And I'm not gonna see every move and like, oh, this is actually gonna go into the regular thing, like no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like how they're using this to have more fun with the characters and expand movesets in a way that, it won't affect competitive, and they can make it as OP or however, silly or over the top as they want.
And obviously those maps are already so cool, and it'll be kind of cool to see like those maps used in this PvE environment and probably expanded upon. We'll like see the familiar parts, but then probably like veer off into like, oh, what's left of this? Like, oh, look at all this.
And this is definitely more true for you than me, but I'm sure you are excited about the fact they already announced 3 new like just maps in general, because
cool.
Based on what I've seen from you and other people, and even kind of me, maps are like new characters in a way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. It's basically the same. It's like equal levels of hype and importance.
Yeah. So the fact that they pretty much announced 2 characters.
Yeah.
And 3 maps right off the bat.
Yeah.
So honestly, from this announcement overall, can't ask for much.
No, I will touch on the one potentially negative thing that a lot of people have brought up.
Okay.
So even through this year, this year has been by far the most I've been paying attention to Overwatch by a long shot ever since it came out was this year. And there are a lot of things especially for a competitive game, an esports game with this big league and stuff. Blizzard can be a bit slow to fixing things in the game. There'll be characters that are broken, and they'll just be broken for a long time. There'll be bugs in the game that just stay forever and ever and ever.
And then with the Overwatch League, which you are very invested in, though, even when they do fix those changes, it can be a time before that reflects the league.
It can be a very, very long time. Could they play in the patch before? Yeah, so that makes it like it already seems like this year they were kind of struggling to keep up with balancing this game, which is very hard, and the more characters they add in, it blows it up. I'm not saying it's easy, but they're already having trouble with that. And then if they're also developing an entire new game with all this new stuff in there, especially if you're someone who doesn't really care about this PvE thing, it's like, okay, great. That's another thing to divert Blizzard's attention from maintaining this game.
Obviously, we don't know, but I can see for the PvE and stuff, those are different teams. Like, I can imagine it's like they just added people for like the PvE stuff or took something from other
I hope
Blizzard teams. until they say otherwise, I don't know if we're necessarily in the mindset of the pessimistic thing of it's taking work away from the PvP.
Yeah, like we
obviously
don't know.
the bread and butter of Overwatch.
Yeah, which I am happy to see that when they went with this Overwatch 2 thing, like it's not like we're trying to get away from the multiplayer thing. It was like, you know, they were like, this is still core Overwatch, you know.
But we're just adding a whole bunch of other stuff that'll make other people happy, and we hope it makes you happy as well.
I'm hoping, I mean, Overwatch is a big enough property that, like you said, you could hire a full other team to just work on Overwatch 2 or work on PvE. But yeah, I mean, it is like, it's hard to see how this makes more time for Overwatch 1 if they're already struggling a little bit to keep up with that. And it's not going to get any easier. Every character they add just makes it that much more like this. Like, I mean, there was a while, like, I love Sigma as a character and just his playstyle and everything, but
still haven't played him.
But he did kind of throw a Rich and everything. There was kind of a wonderful few weeks there where after Roll Lock, but before Sigma was in live, where it's like, oh, everything's great. Like, everyone's viable in Overwatch League. And here, like, stage 4 of Overwatch League was freaking awesome. It's like all over the place. Sigma went in there and it's like, oh, okay, now we're back to kind of a static. Like, you have to play Sigma and Orisa, and you have to, you know, you can't play snipers and you can't because there's too many shields. You know, so like that's going to happen again. I'm sure right when we get to the point where it's like, this is the right Sigma balance, then a new hero is going to come in and kind of break everything again.
Yeah. I do respect Blizzard, you know, and Jeff Kaplan and his team kind of way. I respect Sakurai of the fact of they seem to be hesitant to do the whole remove character thing. That was something we, you know, because me and you've obviously talked about the follow-up to Overwatch for a long time. But like, what we do, what we worry about, and characters were a main one because it's like, you can remove any of these characters and then people will be pissed. You remove even just any of them. But
there's characters you to remove where people would probably be like, all right, well, I'm gonna stop playing because like that was my thing. Like, you know,
yeah. So the fact that they're going this structure, so it all carries over. All the characters are coming there, and they're just adding more. It's like, I respect that. I understand it will be difficult for them, and that will lead to more frustration from players. But in the end, them making that decision makes everyone the happiest.
Yes, it's the right decision. Like, we might, I'm sure, I feel like we're probably going to get to the point like League of Legends. Apparently, I don't know a lot about it, but League of Legends has like hero bans and stuff where people at the start of a match can like ban certain heroes. That sounds like a bummer to me because it just seems like it gets to the point where it's like, what if people just always ban these characters so you can never play them? It's just like, I don't know. Like, I hope that Overwatch doesn't have to get to that point, but it will. I mean, we're already at 30 plus heroes. I mean, it's what about 4 years from now? Like, there's going to be an absurd amount of heroes at some point. You know, something's going to have to give. And I would rather have hero bans than we're taking these heroes out. You know, so we'll see. But yeah, I expected that was about how you were going to feel about it, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in playing these PvE modes with you and the gang.
Yeah. Time to play it on Switch. Moving on. 505 Productions is publishing Death Stranding on PC, which will release in summer 2020. Daria, this blew everyone's minds, even more so than the reviews. Not really. But it did blow people's minds, even though this was something that was announced alongside Death Stranding itself.
Yeah.
But though, to be fair to the people that were kind of surprised with this, the whole saga of Death Stranding and the PC version has been weird. Like, just the whole situation is weird because they said it was going to be on PC or hinting at it like when it first was announced. Yeah. And then there's the whole thing of well, they're using the Decima engine.
And it's Sony published, right?
Yes, or at least on console. Yeah, on PS4.
Yeah.
Not PC as 505. Right. And then the whole thing of, for a while, it seems like all the trailer stuff, like, only on PlayStation. That stuff being removed. It seemed like it was added or removed a couple times, it feels like, in certain places. So it's all very confusing. So the end result's not surprising, but it was really weird about it. Just like everything involving Death Stranding.
Yeah, it can't be normal.
It just can't be normal. Nothing can be easy and straightforward with this game.
That is weird. I mean, it is like, there's a weird precedent. It's not normally like, this was treated like a Sony first party game, and it was Sony published, and there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of a precedent for Sony published games coming out of multiple systems. I guess some of those, I mean, I guess now the Quantic Dream games, those were Sony published, and now they're on PC. But that was a new thing.
Davy Cage games.
Davy Cage.
So yeah, but there's still a net positive for Sony from having this because they get 6 months exclusivity, and for people who really care about this game, and it seems like a lot.
Yeah,
they're not gonna wait.
Let's save it for next week, and especially if Jacob ends up getting in and playing it. But I definitely want to talk on the podcast kind of about the Death Stranding reception. But let's wait. We don't have time today, and let's wait until people get their hands on it because I want to see it. But
Ready for sale time, Darby?
Sales talk.
We got a lot of sales data, Darby, so let us go through it. We're going to start with Nintendo. We got the quarterly reports. Let's start with the hardware for the Switch. The Switch sold 4.8 million this quarter, Darby. From July through September, with 1.95 being Switch Lite, which was out for only 10 days in the quarter.
Wow.
The lifetime total for the Switch is 41.67 million. That's a lot.
Yeah, so it's still probably like on or beating the PS5's the PS4's pace for its time.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, it is doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm curious to see. Like, it's gonna have a huge holiday because Pokemon's coming out.
This was like the whole promise of the Switch. Was like,
and the Lite's gonna continue selling because it will sell with Pokemon and Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So, crazy sales for that. Let's talk about them games, Darby.
Let's talk about them games.
We're gonna get some updates. We're gonna get some new sales data. Let's go. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 19 million now.
That freaking game.
So I think
19
I think
million.
it's sold overall over 27 million if you count the Wii U version.
It's probably like already one of the best selling games of this generation.
Probably like it's on the NPDs every month. A lot of time the top 10.
And what if you added this to the Wii U numbers?
That's what I'm saying. It's like 27 million.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something like that, which is crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo's GTA 5. It's just on every month. Every month there it is.
Super Mario Odyssey, 15.38 million. It's a lot.
So it only sold 0.44 million this
So,
quarter.
yeah, less than half a million.
Well, I guess I'm looking down. That's not too unusual. But yeah. But 15.38 is still respectable, but it's a bad. Oh no, it already did get beat. It already did get beat by
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I figured this was gonna happen at some point.
15.71 million, which making it definitively the best-selling Smash, unless you already didn't count for 3DS and Wii U as the same thing.
But now it has
beat both those together.
Nice.
And is now definitively the best-selling Smash, best-selling fighting game, whatever.
It is the ultimate Smash Bros.
It is.
Financially and it's a good factor.
Yep. and might get Terry this week, Darby.
Ooh. Give me that boy with his fist and his big old ponytail.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 14.54 million. So I think
It sold almost 1 million this quarter.
Pretty soon it's going to probably pass Odyssey.
Yeah, which is kind of great. Like, are we at a turning point between like Zelda and Mario, or at least Zelda's starting to catch up with Mario in popularity?
I think so. I think we can safely say, as we'll talk about later, or get more justify later, Zelda might be the biggest it's ever been.
I think it's getting hard to argue against that
because Breath of the Wild is definitively, like, far and away the best-selling Zelda game.
Well, let's just skip down because we're talking about it right now. Let's just skip down to
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, 3.13 million in 10 days.
Good God.
So that's a lot. I'm trying to remember the general numbers. Link Between Worlds sold about 4 million. A little more than that. It's going to surpass that easily.
Total.
It's going to surpass the original Link's Awakening, and with those crazy numbers, it will 100% be in one of the top selling Zelda games.
Yeah, well, sorry anyone who was upset about it being $60. Nintendo's gonna keep right on charging $60 for any more remakes they do.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep right on doing that.
It's crazy how much that game sold.
And I mean, I'm sorry I'm jumping all around your things, Jeff. I'm sorry we're not going in order, but
it's fine.
This is the conversation we had before. Well, the next game I want to talk about, it's kind of crazy that like that sold 3.3 million in like freaking a few weeks, and Super Mario Maker 2 has sold about that much in like 3 months.
Yeah,
and Super Mario Maker 2 has sold 3.93 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that game was a massive underperformance.
Yeah. And like I said before,
I didn't realize just how much. Like I know a lot less people are talking about it this time than Wii U, but like I have to imagine their projections were way more than that.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Great game.
Yeah, I mean that's even with there was a 1.5 million this quarter. So I mean, like even its launch sales. Consider its launch sales versus Link's Awakening's launch sales.
Yeah,
it's insane. And like we were talking about in the car, we were going over here. It's like. It came out in a good time. Like, it had marketing. I mean, Link's Awakening had a bunch of YouTube ads, but I think Mario Maker 2 did too. They, like, pushed it hard. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just... Yeah. I guess it just... I think as I think you brought up, I don't think they've supported it enough. I think it needed to be, like... Every week, it's like, holy shit, look at these wacky things coming into Mario Maker 2, whereas... I think more effort was put into the story mode thing, but they kind of just, here's the game, bye,
Yeah.
Which was probably the wrong tack.
Sad. At least Link's Awakening still good. That was probably above their expectations. That's really good. So anyway, the games I've said right now are all in the top 10 selling Switch games. Link's Awakening is at number 10. Let's jump back up to number 4. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee episode 11.28 million. That's a lot. People, including me, thought that was underperforming for a Pokemon game. Apparently, it's on like as far as remakes and stuff go. No, it's at a quicker pace than most of them. So it's selling well. I mean, it's 11 million.
It is a lot. It is still a lot. Yeah.
Splatoon 2 9.28 million. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
That is another thing I'm excited to live with you because I really do want to play Splatoon 2. Yeah. I've been meaning to borrow your copy for a while, and now it'll be easy.
Yep.
I want to get into that as like a game I play before I go to bed for a little bit. Yeah.
Like I got the physical versions. So I can just hand it to you and be like, yeah,
plop it right in.
Crazy. Super Mario Party 7.59 million, Darby, and he sold 0.6 of a million in this quarter. Darby, they've already greenlit. Super Mario Party 2, and I think I screenshotted it. Just give me a second, people. Give me a second.
It does seem like, for the most part, most of Nintendo's franchises that they brought onto the Switch have, for the most part, been very successful.
Yeah. Sold better than other games in the series. Okay, so Mario Party is at 7.59. The best-selling Mario Party is 9.31 for Mario Party DS. I think Super Mario Party could potentially...
Lifetime especially. I think it's going to slowly just keep selling
I think Super Mario Party is one of those evergreen titles, unless they release a sequel, that it's going to keep on selling as people get Switch.
Yeah.
Especially when people see it on sales, like, ooh, I heard maybe there wasn't as much content people like, but it was a fun time. Let's go.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. Like, my sister keeps considering getting a Switch, and I'm like... There are I could list you so many games that you should play.
And for a good many of them,
you could justify there are so many games.
Well, and we have physical copies of a lot of games. You can borrow them.
That too, yeah.
We don't care. So New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe 4.59 million.
I mean, like no one's talked about. Like
no one talked about this game before it came out, when it came out, or after it came out.
I thought like 2D Mario is just like like, a lot of these, especially these like reported games, no one ever says a word about them, and they just like silently sell millions of copies. Like,
I mean, that number alone justifies them putting it on the Switch.
Where are these people?
Yeah. We talked about Super Mario Maker. Now let's get out of the top 10 and talk about one other game sales number, and then one game that we unfortunately did not get sales number for a sad reason. Fire Emblem Three Houses sold 2.29 million, beating Awakening's lifetime sales by 0.01 million, Darby. And should soon beat Fate's sales, because I think that's like right under 3 million, and I have no reason to believe that the pace it will be that by the end of this year.
Fates, because does it combine all of
it combines
copies?
All of them. Yeah. Maybe not Revelations, but Birthright and the other one,
Conquest.
Yeah. So Conquest. So Fire Emblem Three Houses selling really well. Yeah. Honestly, I expected it to sell more, but it's still really good for this game.
for how much people are talking about it. I think a lot of that was because games media, like almost every games media site was talking about it, so it made it seem a little bit more. But still, I have to imagine Nintendo's still very happy.
Yeah, and I think it's a game that will continue.
It's another Nintendo franchise coming to the Switch and successful first outing. As you know, so
if Jenny's thinking about getting a Switch, she might want to hold off on playing more of your copy.
Yeah, she did say if she gets a new one, she's going to start over and play on hard, because good God, normal.
She should do that.
God, normal.
So what I was hinting at, we got no Astral Chain data, so it probably did not sell 1 million copies. Switch Bump is a lie, Darby. The Switch Bump is a lie.
Yeah, it's all been a lie this whole time. The Switch is a failure. Everything we just said.
Everything's a lie. Okay, so Astral Chain didn't sell 1 million. That kind of sucks. And we didn't make it onto this thing.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But at the same time, it's still a niche platinum game.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like, though, with the way that they were hyping it up on Nintendo, I imagine that they were expecting a little bit more, because this wasn't just a third-party game being on Nintendo. This was like on every Nintendo Direct. It was like the hot game coming out for the Switch. There was a lot of marketing for that. Like, I don't think they were treating this like a game that was going to sell under 1 million in this launch window. The way they were treating it was not like that.
Okay, Darby. So what we're gonna do now? I'm sure you're okay with this. I'm gonna put it just a time cap for this. No more. We're gonna rapid fire through this stuff.
Yeah, we definitely
potentially have a little conversation about a couple interesting points if we feel like it. Probably nothing much, but let's get to it. PlayStation sales. PlayStation 4 sold 2.8 million this quarter, which makes it lifetime sales 102 million. This makes it the second highest selling console of all time, home console, behind the PS2.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's crazy.
PlayStation Now has surpassed 1 million subscribers, up from 700K in May. No surprise, considering
they got that
deal.
bump. Yeah.
Yep. Got anything else to say about that, Darby?
Nope. Yeah, okay. It makes sense.
We got some Ubisoft stuff. There's a good bit more, but this is the end. The main things. Both Division 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint have both underperformed. Both underperformed. And according to Jason Schreier, because of this, Ubisoft was already changing its approach to designing games by asking employees to pitch a game with some really unique aspects to it.
Hey, just recycling.
Why is that unique?
Recycling the same thing over. It's not.
Yeah, it finally was bad for them.
Yeah.
So hopefully it comes back. Games. Also, something important I meant to put in this but didn't. A bunch of their games got delayed. Watch Dogs Legion, of Gods and Monsters, and some other Tom Clancy shenanigans. Rainbow Six
Quarantine.
That game that I didn't even know it existed. I know
you didn't watch the Ubisoft press conference.
I ended up watching it.
No. What was in there?
There's too many Tom Clancy games. I can't keep up. Can't keep them. They look the same to me.
I was with Will and he seemed excited, and maybe that's why.
So they're all just backed and delayed to the next fiscal year. So in Watch Dogs scenario, that could only mean a month, but they already said that that's going to be into the second half of 2020, which is fine. Take your time. I think I saw Jason Schreier say, because obviously he knows everything. That it sounded like for Watch Dogs in particular, it's just not. There's no problems with it. It's just that what they're doing is so ambitious. They just need more time, which you do it. You do. So, and of Gods and Monsters was the least surprising delay of anything we've had the last little while, because that thing is announced for February and we've seen nothing.
The release date was already like, me and Will were like, wait, really? That's all you showed and you're coming out in like 8 months? What the hell?
In the Easy Allies podcast, when they were talking about it, they're like, oh yeah, if Gods and Monsters didn't have a release date. It's like, yeah, it did.
It feels like it didn't. It feels like it didn't.
Yeah, I can't wait for the corrections we're saying. And they're like, what?
Me and Will were just so floored. We're like,
Yeah.
if you're going to put that date on it, you got to give us more than this.
Also, all the games that we've named and other ones they're going to be releasing next year are going to be cross-gen. Will be playable on next-gen consoles.
Yeah.
So odds are I will be waiting for PS5 to play Watch Dogs.
I mean, timing-wise, it's just too much else.
Especially got pushed back. I could wait longer.
Yeah, which that's such a EU game, but there's just too much coming up.
It is pushed back, so it would. The word does work on my favor. Okay.
Yeah. How important is the EA sales?
There's some interesting tidbits in here.
All right.
This will be it. I got all the information.
This will be the end of the podcast.
Yep. I got all this from Daniel Ahmad.
Thanks, Dan.
Good follow.
Very good follow.
50% of full game sales on PS4 and Xbox One were digital. Continuing to go up.
Getting more and more and more until it's all of it.
Since EA is more of a casual thing, that's kind of more a good way to indicate where the industry's going, I think.
Yep. I mean, some Madden digital copies and NBA digital copies.
Dragon Age 4 won't launch until after fiscal year 2020, so ending in March 2022. So after March 2022 is when Dragon Age 4 will come out. So why in the hell did you do that teaser?
Yep.
EA confirms that Battlefront 1 and 2 have sold over 33 million copies combined. Big number. EA is expecting Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to ship between 6 to 8 million units before March 31st, 2020. I think that is very likely.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, that seems very
good as that sounds conservative in a way. If it's as good as it sounds, it will easily hit that number.
But I actually I like that EA is being a little more realistic.
Yeah.
Like, EA has gone through some hardship, so I like that they're maybe lowballing the number rather than we're expecting 20 million copies. You know, like, yeah.
But what will also help it is the last. Okay, I'll just say it here. They're bringing their games back on Steam, starting with Fallen Order, which is huge.
Yep.
So, Fallen Order hitting that number, unless it's just garbage for some reason. I don't think it's going to be. No, it'll hit those numbers easily. Yeah.
So like they're still doing Origin, just all of their games. Is it all of their games coming back on Steam? Like I remember seeing that
all their games
thing, but yeah, so they still have their own platform. I wonder if they're going to close down Origin at some point. I wonder if this is the beginnings of getting away from that.
But
they wouldn't be doing this if Origin was just completely healthy and like everything was great.
That announcement alone sold Fallen Order copies.
Yeah.
Plans on launching exciting remaster of fan favorites before its next fiscal year ends in March 2021. I have no idea what those are. Obviously, Mirror Edge. Everyone's favorite game.
Wait, so I'm sorry. EA is launching remasters of fan favorites?
Yep.
Then Mother Lovin',
Madden 04, you're right.
Mass Effect, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mass Effect.
Book it.
Yeah, sorry. That's a lock. Mass Effect. People have been asking for those remasters for literally an eternity. Like for
literally since the launch.
Dinosaurs, or like T-Rex was like walking around. And he's like, man, like EA, when are you gonna release the Mass Effect remasters? And then he ate like a pterodactyl. Yeah. T-Rex ate pterodactyls, right? Yeah. Just chomped them right out the sky.
EA confirmed the next Battlefield game will ship in fiscal year 2022. This is the year starting April 2021 and ending in March 2022.
All these future years. It's like these are futuristic sounding years.
EA notes that Apex Legends will be the main service shooter that they focus on next year. The game is planned for mobile, new platforms, China, and esports scene. So they're going all in on Apex. It seems to be doing pretty well for itself.
What if Apex is going to do a league like Call of Duty and Overwatch and stuff have? No.
Maybe.
Because now they have a whole Overwatch, Call of Duty league similar to the style of Overwatch.
Yeah. Final thing, the most exciting and sad. NBA Live canceled, Darby. It's been canceled.
They got beat by NBA 2K too many times.
being redesigned with more details next year. Probably going to be on new consoles and all that.
Yeah. Will it still be significantly worse than 2K? Probably.
I know nothing about this game.
It's just apparently a lot worse than the NBA 2K games.
I probably saw footage of it or something and thought it was 2K.
I think NBA Live had that like horrific face thing with the it was one of the NBA Live games that you could like import your face into it or something, and it would just glitch out and like make legitimately horrifying things. Like,
that's hot.
Not like some of them were funny, but some of them you looked at it, it's like, get this off the screen. I'm gonna see this in my dreams. It's terrible. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Nerds of Large Gaming Podcast. Make sure you check twitch.tv/Nerds of Large Gaming to see all of our streaming content that we're about to do, because we have a new house and it looks awesome and it's great, and we're going to have a streaming room, and I'm so excited. Pichu says free Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong.